The servant begins to go out there and look out there in amazement. He comes back and he says, it's more with us. He says, watch this, it is more with us than against us. He came back and he saw the vision that God has sent angels with servants and with fire ready to do battle for the people of God. Pastor, why are you talking about this? Because he has no perspective of persons. Please don't miss the message. It's ready for you to make some moves and to walk out there on nothing and say a word and watch it happen. Jesus says, come. Peter said, Jesus, if you tell me to come, I'll come and I'll walk out on order. I'll walk out on nothing. Jesus said, come. You better watch it. And when Jesus said, come, Peter began to. And listen, here's what we don't talk about in the message. We don't really deal with the fact that when he started walking, the wind was boasting. When he started walking, the waves was blowing. When he started walking, it looked gloomy, it looked weak, but the only thing he could hear is Jesus said, come! You better hear me. And when Jesus said, come, he didn't listen to the naysayers in the boat. He didn't listen to the people around him. He listened to the word. You better hear me. And when the word, watch this, when the word spoke to him, he did what the word said to do. And he walked out on a raging sea. He walked out where the wind was trying to knock him back. And he didn't look at the wind. He didn't look at what was going on in his life. He didn't look at what was going on around his life. He began to walk out on the water. And as soon as he heard them, watch this, don't miss it. As soon as he heard the boys in the boat saying, Peter, you know you can't. When he heard the naysayers in the boat saying, Peter, you know that you're not supposed to do this. And he began to, watch this, he began to reason in his own mind. When you begin to reason, reason don't have anything to do with the face of God. His reasoning messed him up. It wasn't so much the people, oh God, it wasn't so much the people that was talking, it was his reasoning. It was the fact that he began to listen and believe the wrong voices. I gotta tell you this, I gotta get you to understand this. The wind was waving and they were blowing and they were still blowing. And when Peter realized, oh God, I'm doing something that I can't do, he couldn't do it no more. But here's the good part. Here's what he said, oh Jesus. He began to walk and he realized that I can't do this. He said, Jesus. Here's what you missed in the message. Had not he called on Jesus, he would have aborted his purpose. Had not he called on Jesus, he would have lost his destiny. Because this is the same boy that on the day of Pentecost began to preach the word of God and 3,000 souls. If Peter kept on listening to the voices around him as he begins to sink, he knew something about this thing. He said, I might not supposed to do this, but I don't need my own strength. I'm going to call on. You better hear me. I really believe God is ministering to you. God is sick and tired of us reasoning when he has already told us what to do. We try to reason and try to figure out how to do this thing. I believe God is telling us today, stop trying to figure stuff out and just walk on the water. Walk out there. And if you would dare to believe God, would you imagine thou kingdom come? The will of God is done in the earth through this earthen vessel. If you would just imagine with me about you, if I would only do the things that I think in my mind and I know it's God and I dismiss because of my reasoning, thy kingdom come. You know why you dismiss it? Because his ways are not like yours. You know why you dismiss it? Because you think that you have the knowledge to understand that you can't do certain things. But when you do that, you mess your whole life up. Let me get my last piece of text. 1 Corinthians. I gotta go. I feel the Holy Spirit here tugging on you, and my prayer for you is that you would just let God go and work on the wheel. First Corinthians, oh God, I feel your love for your people. Chapter 1. 1 Corinthians, chapter 1, verse 18. Listen to this. 1 Corinthians, chapter 1, verse 18. It says, the message, watch this. For the message of the cross is foolishness to those who are perishing. God, but to us who are being saved, watch this, it is the power of God. For it is written, listen, he says, I will destroy the wisdom of the wise, and I will bring to nothing the understanding of the prudent. He says, I don't care what you're thinking about, and your reasoning will not match up to God's standard. He says, listen. I will take the weak things of the world to confine the mighty. The base things to bring about something that you cannot fathom in your mind. He's saying, I will get you to walk by faith and not by what you perceive or think. I'm dealing with this thing. And I'm saying, God, as a kingdom citizen, how ought we ought live and how ought we ought act? He says, thou kingdom come. My will be done in your life. And he says, here's what you don't realize, son. You have access to everything in the heavenly realm. He says, and I have already given you dominion over everything in the earthly realm. He says, the only reason you don't have what you say is because you're not speaking nothing. He said, don't just speak it, do it. Told me the other day, he said, you got to believe it. Just do it. And he says, watch me work it out in your life. Stop reasoning. If, maybe, how, no. Just do it. Just do it. God showed me this. Now, I'm going to cut this off. I missed two pieces, but God showed me this. He said, listen, you got to get like the woman with the issue of blood. After she had exhausted all her reasoning, after she had exhausted everything that she knew to do, her reasoning wasn't no good. She says, I know a man